Long story short, my girlfriend and I have been living together for around 10 months. When she first moved in, she insisted on paying rent, and I was reluctant to charge her if it didn't work out, but she forced it and paid a month. Then I found out she's struggling for money, unable to pay for things, is in a lot of debt and lives month to month. She agreed with me that she'd start when she clears the debt. Fast forward to Christmas, I find out she's been stealing my clothes to give to her family as gifts. Another post on here. She lied for 2 weeks blaming me until I showed her footage of her taking the things from the camera in the living room to watch the dog when I'm out. I later then discover through letters and texts I've seen appear on her phone. She's been doing nothing to pay any of it off, so I confront her. She tells me and shows me messages that her mother and sisters constantly guilt-trip her into giving them money, and have for years. They'll message her on payday asking for it, and she feels bad saying no, despite none of them ever paying it back. Her mom alone owes her over £6,000. She has taken a ton of loans out for her family, and they leave her with the debt and don't pay it back. Luckily, her credit is now at the point where nobody will loan to her, but she still tries and does it for them. I also find out I went through her finances. Yes, I shouldn't have. But something wasn't adding up and I was being lied to. That in the space of 20 minutes, she spent £300 on gambling sites. All during this time, she isn't paying a penny towards rent, bills, anything. She'll occasionally buy food shopping or trips out to Starbucks. I tell her enough is enough, and she needs to start paying her way. If she can give handouts to her family and gamble, she can pay for where she lives. And she's taken me for a ride, when she should have been saving and clearing debts. I make roughly 5 times what she does, but I've been fair in that the bills are split proportionally to income. She'll earn £1,400 per month and pays £600, which includes rent and her share of the bills. I take on the rest, which is substantially more, but I believe it's not fair to take more. On the 1st of this month, she tells me she can't pay rent. She says she's paid out too much on our trips to Starbucks, food shopping, and I'll get it when I get it. But she doesn't understand why I need it this month, when she's lived for free the past 9 months anyway. I've asked her to explain where her money has exactly gone, but she tells me I'm controlling, and it's none of my business. In fairness, she will pay when we go food shopping, but rarely in comparison to me. I've kicked her out as of yesterday, and told her she needs to find somewhere to live. However, she is pregnant, and she's using that card as a way to guilt-trip me and make out I've thrown out her and my child onto the streets. In my opinion, she is taking me for a ride and prioritizing her family that is using her over her own family she's started. What's the solution here to getting her to see she's not treating me fairly? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. All this and you got her pregnant. You're stuck with her in your life for the next couple of decades. Be more discerning before jumping into bed and living together. Use birth control with every woman you decide to have an intimacy relationship with in the future. Protect yourself. Learn from this. She's a user, liar, thief, and soon she will be the mother of your child. Comment 2. Why on earth did you go ahead and have a child in such an unstable relationship? That sounds irresponsible. She needs to see a therapist to learn how to distance herself from her hurtful family. Now for the update. Thanks for all the comments on my last post. Things have escalated since then, but just when I thought it couldn't get worse, my girlfriend's sister showed up at our door, unannounced, with a sob story about being evicted. She begged for a place to stay. Against my better judgment, I agreed, thinking it would be temporary. But days turned into a week, and 1 week looked like it was stretching into 2. She was just like my girlfriend, not contributing a penny, eating our food, and even inviting friends over like she owned the place. I found out she was the one egging my girlfriend on to gamble, promising big wins and an easy way out of debt. They'd sit on the couch, phones in hand, whispering about numbers and odds while I was trying to work in the next room. It was infuriating. I confronted them about it, and my girlfriend's sister had the nerve to accuse me of being stingy and unsupportive. Then, the bombshell dropped. I got a call from my bank about suspicious activity on my account. Turns out, my girlfriend had taken my credit card and racked up charges to the tune of £2,000 sounds. She'd given the card to her sister, who'd gone on a shopping spree. They tried to lie their way out of it, but the evidence was clear as day on my statement. I was livid. I felt betrayed and used. I demanded that her sister leave immediately, and I told my girlfriend that she had one day to pay back every penny, or I'd report the fraud to the police. They both knew I wasn't bluffing. The next day, my girlfriend's sister left, but not before stealing some of my electronics and selling them to a pawn shop. I found out when I received a notification from a local buy and sell app where my own laptop was listed for sale. I went to the pawn shop, confirmed it was mine, and the owner, realizing it was stolen, returned it to me without a fuss. I had enough. I filed a police report for the theft and the credit card fraud. My girlfriend was hysterical, begging me not to ruin her sister's life, but I was done being the nice guy. I couldn't let them walk all over me anymore. The police took my statement and started an investigation. My girlfriend was now facing the reality of her actions. She pleaded with me to drop the charges, but I stood firm. It was a hard decision, but I couldn't let her manipulate me any longer. In the midst of this chaos, I received a message from an old friend of my girlfriend's. She'd seen my post and wanted to tell me the truth about my girlfriend's past. Apparently, this wasn't the first time she'd stolen from a partner. She had a history of lying and cheating, always playing the victim to get her way. With this new information, I felt a sense of clarity. I knew I had made the right decision. My girlfriend moved out, and I started the process of cutting ties completely. It was tough, especially with a baby on the way. But I couldn't let myself be part of this toxic cycle any longer. I changed the locks, got a new credit card, and started to pick up the pieces of my life. It was a tough week, filled with drama and betrayal. But in the end, I knew I had to stand up for myself. I couldn't let her or her family take advantage of me any longer. Thanks for reading. My husband lets his sister wreck our finances and criticize my cleaning. So I kick her out and change the locks to teach them both a lesson in respect. Update. Wow, I wasn't expecting so many replies. I just wanted to vent to someone this morning. Thank you for all your thoughts. I really appreciate it. I probably made him sound horrible in this post because I was so mad, but I promise he isn't so bad. He is great with my pets, buys food, plans our travels, and does all the groceries. Sorry, I didn't count them as house chores, and is very kind and caring. It is still true that I do all the cleaning, and his main in-house job is taking out the trash and needs to be reminded from time to time. I agree the bar is so low, and I'm trying to communicate better with him without being a mom. But I will not let him walk all over me or treat him like a child. I want it to be fair for both of us. Thank you guys again. Original post. For context, my husband and I both work from home and tend to sleep in until 9 a.m. We don't have kids yet, but I usually clean around the house, do the dishes, and feed the pets. My husband's only duty is to take out the trash. Yesterday, our kitchen trash was full. And after I told him several times, he took out the bags but left them in front of our door. I assumed he would do it at the end of the night and left them, even though I noticed it was starting to smell. When he came to bed, I asked if he took them out, and he said he forgot. I said it's stinking up the house, so please do it. And he said he will first thing tomorrow. This morning, I woke up and fed the pets. It was 10 a.m., and he was still in bed, awake, but being lazy on his phone. I went up to him and said, "Can you please take out the trash?" He said, "Yes, I will once I get up." I knew this would take a long time for him. Sometimes it takes him over an hour to get up because he is on his phone. I was annoyed at the fact that the trash has been out smelling all this time, and he wanted to take his sweet time. I said, "You're going to do it right now. It's your responsibility," he said. "Are you serious? I don't want to start my morning like this." But I didn't back down. He tried all kinds of excuses to not get up, but I stood there and waited. He finally got up and took out the trash, but now he's obviously upset that I ruined his peaceful morning. Did I overreact by pushing him? I could have done it myself, but because I do everything else around the house, I wanted him to take responsibility. He works hard for his job, but so do I, and I believe that house chores should be done on time. Now, for a few comments before the update, comment 1. He's trying to weaponize incompetence. He thinks if he holds out long enough, you'll do it for him. Are you treating him like a toddler? Yes, but is he acting like one? Yes. That said, there are chores to be done, but there should be some flexibility in that they don't necessarily need to be done right now. He had all day to take it out and forgot. There are consequences to our actions. He should have taken it out first thing, and then he could have played on his phone. I get it. He's tired. Maybe he had a long week at work. Maybe you did too. There was likely a better way to handle this. For both of you. I just don't have the words to suggest. Comment 2. Wait, taking out the trash is his only household responsibility, and he won't even do it unless you ask 20 times? Girl, what are you doing? You know what? Since you're already doing everything else around the house, taking out the trash might as well be your responsibility too. You can start right now with your husband, since he's trash and seriously stinking up your life. Now, for the update. Thanks for all the comments last time. Here's what's been happening. So, after the trash incident, things got worse. My husband's sister, who's always been the type to stir the pot, decided to drop by unannounced. She's got this way of making everything about her, and this time was no different. She walked in, took one look at the place, and started criticizing how I keep the house. My husband, instead of defending me, just sat there scrolling on his phone like nothing was happening. Then, out of nowhere, she announces she's getting a divorce and needs a place to stay. Before I could say a word, my husband offered up our guest room. So now I've got her living with us, not lifting a finger and acting like she owns the place. And my husband? He's just letting her walk all over us, and I'm left to clean up after her too. But wait, it gets better. A few days into her stay, I found out she's been talking to my husband behind my back, convincing him to invest in some sketchy business deal of hers, and he actually went for it without even talking to me about it. Our savings, the money we were putting aside for a down payment on a house, gone. Just like that. I was livid. I confronted him and we had a huge fight. I told him he needed to get his act together and start treating me like a partner, not a doormat. He promised he would sort it out, talk to his sister, and get our money back. But things never really change, do they? His sister threw a fit when he brought it up, and now they're both avoiding the topic. Meanwhile, I'm working double time, trying to keep our finances afloat and the house in order. And then, the final straw. I got a call from the bank. There were charges on our credit card that I didn't recognize. Big charges. Turns out, his sister had taken our card and gone on a shopping spree. When I showed him the statement, he tried to brush it off, saying, "We could just return the stuff." That's when I took matters into my own hands. I packed her bags, put them outside, and changed the locks. When she came back from her little shopping adventure, she found herself locked out. My husband was shocked, but I told him it was either her or me. He finally saw sense. He helped me return everything she bought, and we're slowly getting our finances back on track. His sister is out of our lives, at least for now, and he's starting to help around the house more. He's even taken over grocery shopping and planning our meals. It's not perfect, but it's a start, and I'm not letting anyone walk all over me again. Thanks for reading. My wife takes our daughter and drains our savings for a trip with her new lover. So I serve her divorce papers and take full custody. To give context, my wife and I are both first-generation immigrants to the U.S., currently living in northwestern U.S. We do not have any family near us, so familial help is limited. We both work. Our jobs are busy, but they do pay well, good enough that we have a commuting nanny. I believe that we live comfortably, with sizable savings. However, my wife has said that ever since she had the kid, which we mutually agreed upon, though I have always wanted kids and she has always been neutral negative on it, she has never sustainably felt happy because she has lost the freedom to travel to wherever she wants on a whim, the freedom to go out at nights to eat out or watch a movie at the cinema, etc. She also does not want to do those things alone, but accompanied by her partner, me. At the same time, she does not want a live-at-home nanny because that would also not make her happy. Our kid is actually already what I would describe as an angel kid. She is growing up fast, smart, calls mommy and daddy, plays with us, eats well and sleeps well, and has been, up till this point, a wonderful child. Even my wife feels that our daughter is more than reasonable, and she actually loves her very much despite wanting to be free. Basically, she describes herself as being stuck. Stuck with the kid, stuck with this family, stuck with this life. I asked her that, given what she knows now, going back a decade, would she still choose to be with me? She said no. It seems that the life with a kid is purely incompatible with what she wants. The freedom of spontaneity to do whatever she wants, and not to do whatever she doesn't want. What could I do in this situation to support her and myself? I'm almost breaking down myself because I feel pure helplessness. Yet I cannot bring myself to blame her for this. Just sounds like her personality. Is divorce the only way out? We both don't want that, but it feels like a ticking time bomb. Edit 1 Mar 6. Note to all, thank you all for your advice. Keep them coming in as I'm trying to get as many perspectives as I can, since I'm pretty desperate. If my reply seems like I'm pushing back, I'm not. It might just be that what you're suggesting has already been tried and met with negative or no change results. But nevertheless, I appreciate all the help here, or our relationship advice community. Edit 2 Mar 7. Thank you for the pouring support, ideas, and suggestions. I'll add a couple of points to frequently asked details. 1. She was seen for postpartum depression. She does not have it. And 2. She simply feels not resigned and not reconciled to live a normal life, going through daily routines until retirement for 2 decades. She would want a more exciting life, a lifestyle that would be considered extraordinary and free. I think this fundamentally conflicts with parenthood. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. What your wife says is exactly how I imagine feeling myself if I ever ended up with a child. It's cool that nannies exist, but I totally see her point when she says she feels stuck. I suspect she feels responsible for her choice, so she's doing the right thing by not letting the kid be raised by Ms. Nanny. But it doesn't mean being happy about it. She's, well, stuck, unhappy, dealing with the consequences of her actions like a mature adult. I would only ask her about the part where she said she wouldn't have chosen you again. Is it only because you want a child? Would she have realized that you're incompatible and thus moved on? Or is it about something else? If it's only about the child, I would honestly leave the ball in her court. Your daughter will grow up eventually and your wife will have her freedom back. If she can find it in herself to not be resentful of you and the kid and continue to be a good, albeit unhappy mom, there is nothing else to it. I don't see how divorce could improve things. She will still be a mother then. Comment 2. Maybe she can find ways to get inspired. There are parents that vlog about traveling the world with kids. Or you can find non-traditional ways to make it work. For example, staying married but with separate houses so that some days in the week she can go back into her own private cave. I'm not saying these have to be your options, but if the traditional options of either staying married in the same house and miserable or getting divorced and being miserable don't work, then maybe it's worth exploring non-traditional options. There can be some social media channels, that friend of a friend, I don't know. I know a colleague who has friends with kids that even live in separate countries, and they are happy, as they alternate who flies out to whom several times a year. I don't know, just throwing some thoughts out there. Good luck. Edited for readability. Now for the update. Thanks for sticking with me here. So, the past 2 weeks have been pretty hard on us, and not the fun kind. Remember how my wife was feeling trapped? Well, things escalated quickly. She started going out more, saying she needed space and time to find herself. I tried to be supportive, but deep down I was worried. Then, out of the blue, she dropped a news. She'd met someone, some guy who apparently embodies the freedom she craves. She swore it was just emotional, but who was I kidding? I felt betrayed. I couldn't just sit back. I had to do something, anything. So I made a move that I thought would fix everything. I suggested we take a break, a separation, not a divorce. I thought it would give her the space she needed without tearing our family apart. She agreed, and it felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders. But that was short-lived. Turns out, during our separation, she took our daughter and went on a trip with this new guy. Just like that, no warning. I was furious, scared, and felt like a fool for thinking a break was a good idea. When they came back, she acted like nothing happened, like it was normal to take our kid on a getaway with a stranger. I didn't even know how to react. And then, as if things couldn't get any worse, I got a call from the bank. Huge withdrawals from our savings. The ones we worked so hard for. She'd used the money to fund her little adventure. I was seeing red. How could she be so selfish? But I kept it together for our daughter's sake. I thought that was the worst of it, but no. She came to me all tears and apologies, saying she made a mistake and wanted to come back. And like the idiot I am, I believed her. I thought we could go back to how things were, fix our family. So, I welcomed her back with open arms. But here's the kicker. She's still seeing him. I found messages on her phone, plans to meet up, all while playing the loving wife at home. I feel like a puppet in her game. And the worst part? I can't bring myself to confront her. I'm scared of what it might do to our family, to our daughter. So, here I am, stuck in a lie, pretending everything's fine. I made the wrong choice, and I don't even know how to begin fixing it. Thanks for reading. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.